Hey, Rebel Queens, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about something that is so taboo, is all about money. And every one of us have had a love-hate relationship with money. You've probably been told money is the root of all evil, or money doesn't grow on trees. Maybe you've grown up with that lack mentality, and it's brought you here today feeling stuck or not really attracting the money in the ways that you want to attract it. So in this video, I'm going to uncover all of the things you need to know to attract abundance and money into your life. But before we start, my name is Sherry Brown. I'm a passionate mindset mentor dedicated to helping women break free from those limiting beliefs that are holding them back. Through compassionate guidance and mindset strategies, I help women step into their power and the life they've always dreamed of. So here we go. Today, we're going to change the inner dialogue you have about money. What if money wasn't just a number? What if it wasn't a piece of paper? What if it wasn't a physical thing? Well, it isn't, because we're all energy. We attract and repel things as we go through life. If you look at all your life experiences, you will see the ways that you've attracted money and the ways you've repelled it. Oftentimes it comes up as, holding and clenching onto money really tightly, and only to have it leave you more and more. Because of your relationship with money, that is halting your ability to attract abundance and wealth into your life. The way I look at wealth and abundance isn't the same that I would look at money. Abundance and wealth are different from money. Money is the outcome of the energy that we put into it, but the wealth is the whole picture. Your wealth is where you are today and where you're going, but is the energy you put into that thing that attracts that money. In my story, I've often had many callings, many careers. One thing I've noticed is that money flows to me when my energy is aligned with that thing I'm doing, but I'm obsessing over it to the point where I don't think about the outcome. I don't think about the money that's coming in. I think about the feeling that this project or this career gives me. And so when I'm going into that mindset, I'm not thinking about how much money I can make. I'm thinking about fulfillment. I'm thinking about abundance and that kind of wealth, not the physical. So when we look at money being energy, we have to rewire that mindset to look at how we are putting our energy into attracting that money. So for example, one thing I will do constantly is when I go out and I spend money or I buy a coffee or I'm paying a bill, whatever that looks like, I will always say these words: arigato in, arigato out. This is a Japanese term for thank you for coming in, thank you for going out. You have to allow money to flow in and out with you, because like I said, money is energy. And so if you're putting in that negative energy when you're spending that money, you're only going to stop it from flowing back into you. And so you have to cater to that relationship. It's sort of electricity. The more it flows, the more abundance you have. It's the same that goes for money. As a child, I used to really look at money as a lack thing. And my dad used to work 24/7. He had multiple businesses and he barely spent any time with us. He was basically working to live. And I started to adopt this type of mindset where money could easily leave me at any moment. And I had to hustle hard to have money, and I had to have the big careers and get the good grades so that I could have a good job to attract money. But I started to realize through my years that I didn't need to do that, that I could let go of those limiting beliefs. I could let go of those structures or those rules and put myself in a space of energetic alignment. So all of my careers that I've had have been energetically aligned. And like I said, I don't think about the money when I'm doing it, but the money seems to flow in tenfold when my energy is so aligned with that thing. But when I start going into a space of lack, that lack mentality, and I hold on too tightly, I start to have multiple bills, multiple expenses that I didn't even ask for. That is because my lack mentality came back. And we can't help when those things come back, but we can choose to change that mindset. We can choose to change the story that money is actually energy and not physical. So if you constantly tell yourself that, you will start to move through your day to day knowing that this physical thing cannot control you. And I like to say there is an abundance of money in the world, but people seem to think that markets are too saturated, there's not enough money to go around, money is hard to make, or everything's so expensive, the inflation is existing, and I get it. All of that is true. However, if you just remove those blockages and you start to focus on yourself and your own energy and alignment, you will start to see that you can move into a space of abundance. You can move into a space of receiving versus controlling, repelling, not really allowing anything to come into you, and understand that there is a again, an abundance of money in the world. We're looking at it as if we're in a bubble and we have no money coming in, but we have the ability to make so much money if we choose to. Not coming from a place of desperation, not coming from a place of control or pushing too hard or hustling. It is about knowing exactly who you are and what you're meant to be doing to attract that money, but listening to your own guidance, your own energy while you attract it. For many years, my parents told me that I should be a doctor or a lawyer. I'm an Indian girl, so my culture is all about getting the good grades, making a successful career for yourself, working hard to get there. But I've proven my parents wrong by rebelling, in a sense. I have created a life that I wake up every morning and I'm truly fulfilled. I have freedom. I know that money is never going to stop me from being happy, whether I have a lot of it or not enough of it. I know that I can make life work regardless because of my own beliefs, because of what I know I'm capable of doing. And you have to start to ask yourself those questions. What am I really good at? And why am I repelling money? Where am I stuck in my life? What are places in my life that I need to expand more? I need to raise my level of frequency. I need to align myself with better environments, better careers, better passions, better hobbies to create that life that allows money to flow into it. Money is neutral. It is not either good or bad. People say money is the root of all evil. And while I agree that some people use money in the wrong way, we can choose to use money in the right way. So what I mean by that is if you take money and you spend it on something that energetically aligns with you, you're always living from a place of abundance versus scarcity. If you look at something called hedonic adaptation, say you want that shiny new car. You think it gives you some status or you think it makes you feel successful, but you buy that shiny new car and after 6 months, it starts to feel like this, a flat line. That's what hedonic adaptation is. We all go down to the baseline level where we don't feel that high. We don't feel that abundance anymore. And so when you're buying things, you want to ask yourself, how am I going to feel with this thing in 6 months? What is this giving me in return? Because like I said, money is energy, but also the things you buy with that money are energy as well. And so the things you buy have to give you energy in order for you to attract more of it. I like to visualize money as a light. So if I'm getting a bill in the mail and I have to pay it, I will say, okay, I will give this money freely to this company or, the light bill or whatever. And oftentimes when I release it, I ask to receive more. And I will say, okay, here's a $400, but I'm going to receive 10 times more. In whatever way that comes, I'm ready to receive. If you put that energy out there, the money will flow to the people it's meant to go to. That money is not yours anymore. If it goes to somebody else, it's theirs. Same way, if it's yours, it will come back to you, but you have to be willing to allow it. You cannot hold on tightly to money. And my middle child loves to do this. He loves to hold on to money so tightly that he's often so rigid with it that it makes him stressed out if something happens. Like the other day, someone hacked into his debit account. Don't know how that happened. But as a kid, he was calling and he's like, I don't know, somebody took my money out of my debit card. And he was stressed out, and money can make us feel stressed out when we lose it. But if we rewire our mindset to believe that money is meant to leave us, we can also rewire our mindset to believe that money is meant to flow back to us and allow that to happen without resentment, without complaining, without, being grumpy. Think about money as this magnetic field around you, attracting more of it. Imagine the vision of money just falling in your lap. Do some EFT tapping daily. I love to do this every day because I often find money comes in the weirdest ways. All of a sudden, someone will send me a check in the mail, and half the time I don't expect it. And so if you ask, you shall receive. But you have to believe it. You have to constantly be talking to yourself in that abundant mindset versus that scarcity mindset. If you're talking to yourself in that negative way, constantly saying, oh, I'm broke, everything's so expensive and I can't afford this and this costs an arm and a leg. These are things I've heard so many times throughout my careers. When people are asking for services, they're constantly saying, I need this, something that doesn't break the bank. Well, you're not really putting yourself in that abundant mindset if you're looking at it that way, because what's expensive to one person isn't expensive to another person. And so you want to put yourself in that frame of mind where, you are allowed to spend money on the things that you want and you can afford it, but you have to constantly be telling yourself that instead of looking at it as, oh, this is expensive. Oh, I can't afford it. I'm broke. Well, you're constantly repelling money the more you talk to yourself that way. The more you bring the old stories back, the more they'll stick around. So start changing the stories, start speaking differently about it. Say things like, I'm attracting money in unexpected ways. People and opportunities are coming my way when I least expect it. Universe has my back, and I know I am safe, I am protected no matter what. Say things like, my bank account is filled with money right now. I have more than enough blessings to carry me through. Here are some practical ways that you can align yourself with money every day, and you have to practice these things. And that first thing I told you about the negative self-talk, you have to change that story. But the next thing is really practice the gratitude. Look at the blessings around you. What are the things in your life giving you, big or small? Whether it be your coffee maker or your couch or your window where the sun shines in. I often sit down in the mornings and have my cup of coffee and really intentionally take it all in, because that gratitude makes you feel abundant and brings in more abundance in your life. The more you focus on what you don't have, the less likely you are to receive more. So exercise that gratitude, write it down on paper, do some EFT tapping, meditation, go for walks, really turn off the volume. Turn off the chaos for a bit and start to really look at your life and the things that you have achieved, that you do have, that you were able to, receive in your life, and look around you and say, you know what? I am blessed. I lived in India from the age of 14 to 18, and I'm not from there. I had a huge culture shock. When I went there, I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with my mom and my sister, and we shared a bed. We had no hot water. We had no clean water. We had no toilet paper. Our surroundings were very scarce. My mother had barely any money. I had to hustle. I had to work really hard for it. But I would look around at the people around me and the little kids working on the streets with no shoes on, no dreams in mind, just surviving. And the thing that I noticed the most was that they took in all those blessings day to day without even realizing it. They weren't looking for the next thing. They were just grateful for their interactions. They were laughing and joking on the streets. They normalized this type of life. I find now when I live in this kind of environment that a lot of people are complaining around me about the things that they don't have. And it's constant like lack, lack, lack. And I try not to surround myself with those people and really look at where I lived and see how people in India were surviving and just being grateful for what they already had. I think that in our day to day, we miss that. We don't do that. We constantly crave more and more in order to be happy, or we think it makes us happy. But guess what? We're never happy. So you have enough to make you happy as you are right now. But if you want more wealth and abundance, you can also make that happen. But it starts with giving gratitude for what you already have. You also want to release that fear and guilt around spending money. And if you feel that guilt around spending money, then you're holding on too tightly, right? But also intentionally spending money, like I said earlier, is really important when you are spending money. It could be things like investments. It could be things like, the Starbucks coffee treat that you really want, or it could be that new wardrobe that you really want. Really looking at it as, I get to do this because I know money's coming back to me. If you have that mindset of, I'm going to spend this money today, but I know it's coming back to me, then you can spend it without guilt. You can spend it without regret or remorse. And I think it's so important to give back. I think it's so important to give people money in need, even if it's just a little bit. Whenever I'm in New York City or somewhere where there's a ton of homeless people, I always want to buy them something to eat because I feel like generosity is karma. You get karma back when you do good in life. We shouldn't want to make money to keep it all to ourselves. We should want to make money to let it flow freely. Money is meant to flow. It's not meant to stay stuck. It is meant to help the world survive as well. It's meant to give people their livelihood as well. So we can't hold on to it all for ourselves, but remember that it will come back. So each day I want you to sit down and ask yourself, how are you aligning with that energy of money? How are you rewiring that narrative? How are you moving through your decisions every day? How are you speaking to yourself? How is your energy flowing with the things that you're doing today? How are you looking at shopping and spending money every day? And say those words, arigato in, arigato out. If you release that burden, you will start to feel free. You will start to feel energetically aligned to money, and you will start to see the blessings of money come in the most unexpected, magical ways, I promise. So I hope this video helped. Let me know in the comments where you're at in your journey, and I'll see you next time.